So far, we've reopened 2 parks across the reserve. Today, we're continuing into Site 3, the Spinosaurus Wetlands. Repairs are complete, the habitat is secure, and we're finally ready to bring visitors back inside.
Welcome to our Spinosaurus conservation. After several weeks of repairs, we're finally reopening this section today. Deltadromeus was remarkably light for an animal this size. Long legs, a lean frame, pretty much built for moving quickly across these open banks. Hamadasuchus is a crocodiliform, but don't picture a modern crocodile. These animals were much better adapted for moving around on land.
Look at how it walks.
Incredible.
Look at the crest.
That's Afrotapejara. They're one of several pterosaurs found in this ecosystem. That crest makes them pretty easy to pick out once you know what you're looking for. He spends a lot of his day working these deeper channels. This is one of his favorite feeding areas, so we see him out here pretty regularly.
Living across North Africa roughly 100 million years ago, an adult could reach 46 feet in length, making it one of the largest predatory dinosaurs known. But size wasn't what made Spinosaurus so different. Its long, narrow jaws were lined with smooth, conical teeth, well suited to gripping slippery prey. Above its back rose enormous neural spines that supported the distinctive sail that gave the animal its name, spine lizard. And at the other end of the body was an unusually deep tail. Exactly how Spinosaurus used the water is still debated, but the evidence points to an animal closely associated with rivers and wetlands, very different from predators like Tyrannosaurus. Our adult male spends much of his day moving between these deeper channels and the shallows. Sometimes almost the entire animal disappears beneath the surface, leaving little more than that enormous sail visible above the water. But he isn't the reason this section of the reserve has been closed. Several weeks ago, one of our adult females was being housed in a neighboring breeding range when part of the outer water barrier suddenly failed. With the channel open, she moved out of the reserve and followed the connected waterways towards the coast. She was eventually located near a local town where she had begun nesting along a quiet stretch of shoreline. Our team secured the area, recovered the female safely, and returned her to Site 3. At first, we assumed she had damaged the barrier during the escape, but the engineering report showed the opposite. The initial impact had struck the wall from outside the enclosure. The Spinosaurus hadn't broken out. Something had broken in. Whatever caused the damage was never identified. Since then, the affected concrete has been replaced, the water gate reinforced, and new monitoring equipment installed throughout the lower channels. The female remains safely managed in the breeding section. Our male is back in his usual territory, and after several weeks of work, the Spinosaurus Wetlands are finally ready to reopen.
Just finishing up the routine checks on the new barrier. Everything is safe and normal.
That's Alanqa. Despite the wings, you'll often see them down on the ground like this. Those long, enormous beak make them pretty unmistakable.
Look how far they've gone. They're just so massive.
Carcharodontosaurus was one of the great predators of Cretaceous North Africa. It lived here roughly 95 million years ago at around the same time as Spinosaurus, in a landscape dominated by enormous river systems, wetlands and coastal plains. Fossils of both animals are known from Morocco's Kem deposits. Carcharodontosaurus was enormous. Its best-known skull alone measured around 5 feet long, making it one of the largest predatory dinosaur skulls ever discovered. The animal itself was among the largest land predators of its time, and its name tells us something about how it hunted. Carcharodontosaurus means shark-toothed lizard. Its jaws carried long, flattened teeth with finely serrated, cutting edges, very different from the rounded, conical teeth of Spinosaurus. These teeth were built for slicing through flesh rather than gripping slippery, aquatic prey. That difference may have been important. Carcharodontosaurus and Spinosaurus occupied the same broader ecosystem, and the two giants may occasionally have encountered one another, but they appear to have filled different roles. Spinosaurus was closely associated with the waterways and aquatic food chain. Carcharodontosaurus was the more terrestrial hunter, likely targeting large animals moving through the surrounding floodplains and river margins. Evidence from fossil chemistry suggests that this separation in diet may have helped several enormous predators coexist in the same ecosystem. Here at Site 3, our coastal range gives him plenty of open ground between the shoreline and the inland vegetation. And despite his size, watch how efficiently he moves. A long balancing tail, powerful hind limbs and a relatively athletic build made Carcharodontosaurus a very different kind of giant from the Spinosaurus we saw earlier. Same ecosystem, two enormous predators built for two very different ways of life. And with that, our third site has been restored and officially reopened. Thank you for joining us today and for coming along on our journey through the Spinosaurus Wetlands. If you enjoyed today's adventure and would like to help support the park, consider becoming a member. Your support means a great deal to our team and helps us continue improving the reserve and creating new experiences for everyone who visits. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe before you leave. There's still a lot more of the island left to explore. From all of us here at the Real Dinosaur Zoo, thank you again for spending your time with us. Until next time, stay curious, be kind, and we'll see you again soon.